So, dear Dharma friends, and as human beings, we all every day, morning to night, from birth to death, we looking for our satisfaction, happiness. And when we look at the human civilizations, in this million years, people invest their life. Our ancestors invest their life to find the happiness. And all the philosophers, religious leaders, enlightened masters talk about happiness and satisfaction. So, today we're going to look using this all the resources from our ancestors to today and see what we can understand as happiness and satisfaction in the highest level. Why? Because if you recognize it very clearly, you're going to save a lot of your life and a lot of energy, and you're not going to go wrong way, and later you're not going to become disappointed you didn't find it. And when we look at the world, when we look at the other people, we can see, and there are a lot of people thinking this is make us happy, this is make us happy, and they go in a different directions, and finally they become tired. The journey itself they make them disappointed. But the very important thing you have to understand, if you get into the right path of the happiness, it never going to make you unhappy on the way, because the journey itself start to fulfill the happiness little by little. The journey you take itself going to show you that you are at the right path. So today we have the science, technology, and the people develop the understanding in different ways, and the people investigating the life, this human body to the highest, and the people able to separate the heart and the brain, and they go through this all the neurology and all this nerve system, and they trying to recognize something, and they can break down one blood cell to the very tiny parts, and get into the DNAs, and they have ability today to change the DNA, the first building block of our this body. But still there is some unbalance when it comes to happiness. Still there are a lot of people cannot recognize exactly what is the real happiness. How are you going to be really find the satisfaction? So there are few ways that people look for satisfaction, and the first level is, as an ordinary person, the sensual pleasure with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and looking for that satisfaction is one way to become happy. But it is not permanent. Why? Because it always depending from something. And another thing is, you have to always expand the outside capacity to develop the inside satisfaction. So in case if that outside capacity becomes smaller, then what is happening? The disappointment, sadness, worry start to develop. So one way of happiness, the sensual pleasure. When we ask from people what is happiness, sometimes they say about the sensual pleasure with eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. with all the outside perceptions. For eye, the colors or the pictures; for the nose, sound; and for the ear, sound; for the nose, aromas; for the tongue, taste; for the body, sensation; and for the mind, thoughts. So that is sensual pleasure. There is something. You cannot say no. There is something. That's why we are in the samsara, in the basic level. And then there is another level, emotional satisfaction. So the emotional satisfaction is a little bit deeper than the sensual satisfaction. Because the sensual satisfaction, in this very moment you become happy. Whatever the things happening with you, as example, you have to have a movie to watch, you have to have a sound to hear, you have to have a smell to feel, you have to have food to taste. Why? Because this eye become real eye when it become contact with the pictures or the colors or the light, electronic magnetic field. So the sound, it become real, the ear become real ear when it come and harmonize with the sound. Otherwise you cannot experience the ear without sound. So that is the sensual pleasure. So then it always you need something. But the emotional pleasure is something else. When you start to develop this sensual pleasure again and again and again, repeat, and it start to go to your subconscious mind. So the mind has a different the level then according to modern psychology and according to modern science. But in the deeper level, the mind is mind. But in the beginning we cannot take it like that. Sometimes it is little bit tough, heavy to take like that way. So that it's okay, whatever the resources we have today, we just go with that. And you have mind, the consciousness, subconsciousness, and unconsciousness. So sometimes we go with this all. So the thing is, then the sensual pleasure happening again, be very clear and try to get this. When the sensual pleasure happen, when you keep repeating again and again and again, it go to your subconsciousness, and then that with the contacts with the thought arise, in that thoughts, that itself there is that subconsciousness current arise. With that current you start to go, then the emotional satisfaction you look for. So then you need the repetition, habitual pattern. That is where the emotional pleasure start to arise. And the other thing is, there are certain things that creativity make you happy. It's like in a certain level, once you start to create certain things, like if you write a song, if you write a book, and so whatever the things, if you start to make something, and whatever the things that you keep working, if you start to create something new, if something in your head, and then you try to bring it out through some work, so during that time also you find certain satisfaction, happiness. So that's why there are scientists or some other people, whoever with the literature or the singers, dancers, so they become, when they create you something and they become happy, there is that kind of happiness also. And another thing is this sharing and doing a nice thing, that also make happy people. And that's why when you kind of like doing good things, it make you happy. So in in Buddhism is Chittam Punati iti Punyang, Hadayam Punati iti Punyang. So when your heart, when your mind start to become happy with this, satisfied, and that create a kind of like a current to go with it, and it is a kind of a satisfaction. But today we want to go to the bottom of the happiness. That is the bottom line. So, and we know the tranquility state, samadhi, satori, and all in the kevalya. So there is a moment come that your mind has certain kind of skills, and there is a certain kind of challenge outside. When the mind able to be conscious regarding the skills to go with the challenge, and according to the challenge, that whatever you have, that as example you want to observe the inhalation exhalation, so then that is now you recognizing that you want to observe this. So then once you have that idea, what is happening, that there are certain things even inside your mind, the thought arise, sound come, pain come, this kind of different challenges come. So what is the skill that you have to develop? To stay focused. And recognizing that is called awareness. So recognizing this yourself, what you have to do, and what are the difficulties around you to come against it, it called awareness. So then when it comes to awareness, it is just not only, oh, I want to go there. It's just an idea. But what is the awareness when it comes to that? Oh, I want to go there. It is this much take time, this long, it take this much time. It has to go through this kind of situations. It has to go this kind of way. So like that, recognizing complete and understanding. Now you are aware about it. So you have now that skill, and then you recognizing that all the difficulties come against it. And when you become conscious regarding that your awareness, the consciousness means in that very moment your mind observing knowingly what you're doing, and then you use that your awareness to overcome your challenges. In there is a moment, it's called flow. It's called flow. If you go online whenever you have time and type the flow of happiness, but it doesn't talk about meditation. They talk about this some other things, but just try to get this. This is the real ultimate happiness. There is nothing beyond this. So once you become aware regarding your skill, and you recognizing the challenge that what you have around you, and then you become consciously involving with your fully capacity, using your skills, not outside, mental skills, to overcome that challenge in the beginning. So whatever the sound come, you consciously neglect it. You're not going to go with it, because if you are not conscious, you get disturbed, you get mad. So you consciously recognizing it's a sound, you not go with it. So it need effort to be with like that. Consciously you use your skill to overcome your challenges. In a moment when you keep doing this, little by little, what is happening? your skills start to come to a point itself without effort. It has power to overtake the challenge. In that very moment, your flow happening. That is the real moment. You going to be 100% satisfied. So when you come to that moment, there is nothing anymore you look. There is nothing can disturb you. There is nothing depend. That moment is not depending from anything, because the consciously, when you become conscious, you don't get any help from outside. It is real you. It's the really deeper, the complete, the strength and the awareness of your own human mind. It's called Sati Sampajanya. And when the moment comes for you to get into that level of flow, to overtake the challenge using your inner skills, in that very moment you feel completion. And that is the real happiness, and that is the moment you going to complete 100%. And it can come as samadhi, and as a tranquility state, and as satori, and as kevalya. So like that you can climb that to the different path. But when the day comes for you to experience that, it is far beyond that this sensual pleasure. Why? Because as I mentioned, the sensual pleasure always need the outside help. So you always need to depend on it, and you always have to increase the outside capacity to find the inner satisfaction. Nothing wrong with it. Anything is nothing wrong, as I mention every day. Remember, these are the very nature of life. So you cannot tell anybody, oh, he's better than this, she's better than this. No. We all are in the same ocean. We all are same. Don't try to separate anybody. We all are human. Only thing is we trying to get into little bit that the higher and to the bottom line. And once you know that, because we look the entire human civilizations, thousand years people spending their life to look for happiness and satisfaction. Every day people go here and they are looking for happiness and satisfaction. But end of the day, people become unhappy. It is okay if you become end of the day you unhappy, it is okay. But the thing is, how about end of the life if you become unhappy? No, oh, I miss the right things. Oh, I went through illusion. Oh, I went through something else. This is not the right thing. Then what will happen to you? So then remember, now you know exactly what is the right thing. Once you reach to that you will see. But by hearing, if you recognize this by hearing, it should tell you it is truth or not. Why? Because the very beauty of the truth, you don't need any third person opinion or second person opinion to understand it or validate it, like these machines and technology. No. By hearing, that is the beauty of the Dharma. By hearing, you're going to recognize that is right. That is the right point. That is where you become accept, and that you start to follow it. That is where you become the Sangha. Because by force, and and it's not like a military course, we can tell, do you have to do this. No. When people come to Buddha, themselves, they volunteer themselves to this community of Sangha. So listening to Dhamma, when you recognize, when you tune to the truth, You volunteer to the truth. So then remember yourself, and somehow, little by little, you cannot struggle, little by little. Remember, it is always happening inside you. That is where your mind really going to be completely satisfied and happy. There is something beyond that. In the Vipassana level, where our final goal is not the getting to this happiness, no. But on the way, people looking for happiness, and as parents, and you try to teach to your children to be happy, and you have to give it as gift for the next generation. So it is your responsibility. One day, if your children come to you, your husband or your wife, and come to you and ask, your friends come to you, ask, are you happy? Even you can say no, it is okay. But what is really you want to be happy? If somebody come and tell me what you want, I can give that. What you going to ask? At least you should know what to ask. So now you know, and try it. If you try few days, then you will see where you going to be complete happy. And that happiness not the end. That's why when we practice observing the inhalation exhalation in the 16 steps, even you feel that happiness, you forget it. It is why? Because that is not the moment to attain that going to go out of the samsara. It's still happening in the samsara. If you look for enlightenment, you have to go to beyond it. But it is a point you can achieve in the basic level. You have to have the satisfaction. That's why from ancient time to today, there are certain people, when they keep practice in a certain level, these other things become nothing to them. This sensual pleasure is nothing to them. This emotional pleasure, nothing to them. Because once you experience the highest, it's like once you eat the 5-star hotel, the brunch, the Subway or McDonald's or this other things is nothing. So like that. And see that we looking for happiness, everyone talk about the happiness. And try yourself now, where the real you can be happy. It is a real moment. You can there are some people get lost there. There are a lot of rishis, enlightened masters get addicted to them. It is not like addiction you get into the hashish, ganja, or the marijuana, or this kind of heroin. Not like that. It's a completely different side of things. But what the Buddha mentioned, no, you have to go passing that. But it is as ordinary person, and just I am telling you in this way how you can experience something, and the clarity that you can develop, and at the same time in day-to-day life, if you are able to look for exactly that, you saving a lot of energy, your life, and you're not going here and there, and you are never going to be disappointed. So that is the important thing. You're never going to be disappointed. It always when you take the moment, and you will see. Because without conscious, just take it. Even in day-to-day life, whatever you do, with your bodily, verbally, or mentally action, or whatever with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, in the basic level, if you are not conscious, how you going to enjoy the moment? How you going to enjoy the sensual pleasure? How you going to enjoy the emotional pleasure? How you going to enjoy the creative pleasure? And how you going to enjoy the sharing pleasure if you are not conscious? So that's why in the deeper level, the highest happiness is consciously developing your awareness to develop your skills to overtake the challenges come around your skills. And that is what, when you come to the tranquility state, when you look for the peace inside, that whatever other things come, and if you are able to settle down even for 5 minutes, if you come to the point knowingly yourself to stay without moving, one point very clear, and you are that consciously observing 5 minutes, that 5 minutes will prove you more than this 100 years accumulation. The entire world, this all the material pleasure is not worth than that 5 minutes. So try it. It's now it is in front of your table. It is up to you, and maybe you will keep going the same way like others for a while, but one day, if you have a time, maybe when you get old, there's nothing to do, maybe if there's another virus come and you have to quarantine yourself, and maybe somewhere in life you stuck in a place and nothing to do, and maybe you go to jail and there's nothing to do, maybe you become very old and you go to a that this elderly house, there's nothing to do, your TV broken, and there's nothing to watch, there's no one around you, everyone leave you. You don't need to do it today. I'm not telling to do it today. Only thing what I'm telling, just know there is something. Just enjoy your life. The way you like, enjoy your life. But when a day come for you, hey, I'm broke, I'm done, this is not the way, I'm not happy, and then remember what I told, and start from that day, and you will see. It is guaranteed that you will see that you're going to get it. So with that, I bless upon everyone by the power of the soul. Good Patrice, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. By the power of this good practice during this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata ca ammehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchutu. So